you cannot say that I cheat you when you see your animals here,
Yeah.
right? You cannot say that I'm scamming you when I have such a big space over here for you to come and have fun with your family. No such thing.
Yeah.
If I want to scam you, I'll put my farm in Burkina Faso, in Congo, somewhere. You don't know how to go there.
I'm gonna take this chicken to Burkina Faso right now.
Okay. Hi guys, and thank you so much for tuning in Inspiring Tales once again. And I'm here right now in Desaru, and it's my first time being interviewing in a farm.
Welcome.
I'm here together with the founders of Aliyah Rizq Farm, Ashraf and Nabila. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, Hakim.
to the
Thanks
farm.
for coming.
Thank you for journeying the wilderness.
It's really a unique experience, nah. I can say it's a really unique experience, and the journey towards here. I actually brought my family along as well, and they are behind the cameras. The reason why I brought them is because the founders Ashraf and Nabila told me that it's perfect for family to come down for activities as well. Yeah, and maybe you guys can actually introduce yourself, Ashraf and Nabila.
Okay, introduce yourself.
I'll introduce you, you introduce me.
Okay.
My name is Nabila Bagarib. I am I call myself the shepherdess
Shepherdess.
of Aliyah Rizq Farm. We've been around in the industry for about 10 years, right? But in this location, it's about 7 years, coming to 7 years that we're in Desaru. So we started this out 10 years ago. Actually, funny story. It's actually my mom's dream. So the name Aliyah, my mother's name is Siti Alawiyah. Short is Aliyah. So she had a dream of setting up a sort of like a retirement plan to chill and have goats and all that. And she stays in Brunei. So actually in the backyard of our home, our old home, she actually made a whole pen with a few kambing around just for fun.
Oh, just for fun.
Just for fun.
So
when
she's a Bruneian.
no, she's Singaporean, but
She's Singaporean, but she
she's
resides
residing
there.
in Brunei.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see, okay.
So
Interesting.
when we got to know each other and we were about to get married, she's like, hey, they had a side conversation. And he said he's been dabbling into a few things. One of them is the sheep industry. So fast forward, that my mom's dreams. My mom's our first investor,
Okay.
right? So she invested in us, in him, to set up this farm. And she always say like, oh, I never imagined for it to be the way it is right now. So she's always very excited to hear our developments. Yeah.
So, 10 years ago, you guys were married or in a relationship? Or how you guys?
We were acquainted through an event, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, from there we became friends, and after that we got married lah.
So that is where you guys actually planned.
So I think when we were getting engaged,
Before.
when we engaged, I think that was the time when we had this conversation about the sheep, and
You
then
guys were manifesting already.
manifesting. Not me, him and my
Me
mom.
and my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
Was
She was
manifesting.
not in the picture. She was like, you
You guys do what you
You
guys
guys
do.
deal with it.
pandai korang ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So maybe you can also share like before this plan, right? What were you guys doing actually?
I mean, I'm a clinical psychologist by training, and I also do family and couple therapy. I'm still doing that full time because that's my passion. So I'm still doing that, and I'm also shepherdessing
Oh, shepherdessing.
after, in between. Yeah. You want to tell me about yourself, babe?
So, you want to know what I was doing before this, or you want to
Before Aliyah Rizq.
before Larry's farm? So before this, I was a developer. I had import and export of vehicles going on. I had a restaurant going on. I was doing product manufacturing. I was doing some coaching. Yeah, so there was a lot of things I was doing, but I was still doing some sort of sheep farming in my backyard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
Where
like
was your backyard?
it's in Johor. It was behind my house. So I had like a small cage, right, for the sheep. But I had like a mini zoo at the home. So there were many animals, rabbits, chickens, many different things. So then I had to outgrow it. They were breeding and all that. So I was forced to open up a small farm. This was before my mother-in-law came to the picture. So I had to rent a space and all that because there were too many.
Yeah.
And then after that, when we got married, I actually let go of everything in Malaysia, settled back in Singapore. And then when my mother-in-law was telling me that, hey, why not we do a sheep and goat farm again? And they were like, okay. Again. Okay, fine, then we did it lah. Yeah, so after we got married, then my mother-in-law, she said, okay, let's do it in this scale. So then she invested this money, and then we did it in Mersing.
Oh, is it?
The 2 acre land in Mersing.
So that Mersing is where your mum is?
That's your aunt's place,
Where
right?
aunt's place.
Oh, your aunt's place.
Yeah. So my mother-in-law has always been in Brunei. She was running her own goat farm there.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we were running the goat and sheep farm in Mersing, and then we were on that 2 acre land which belongs to my auntie. So we were growing that until it also outgrew lah. Then we had to come here to Desaru.
I see.
So before that, I was doing all these property developments lah, marketing lah.
I would call Ashraf a serial entrepreneur. Serial entrepreneur. Because he dabbles in so many different things. When I knew him, I'm like, you buat apa ni sebenarnya? You know, like it. So I think probably 10 years down the line where we are now, I always tell him, I think this is your calling. Right? Because this is, I think, the first time that you focus on one main thing, right? And
So usually it's like
multiple things.
I always have to do a lot of things. I cannot keep myself too free.
So the reason why you started this is because out of passion? Or
Yeah.
out of passion, yeah.
Everything else that was being done was a business. I mean, the passion is in the business lah, you know, but the love is in the animals, right? So doing whatever business that I was doing before that, of course you find a bit of, satisfaction in all these things, but you never feel that fulfillment that you need. Not until I dabble into this lah. So when I'm here, I don't feel like I'm at work.
Yeah, I can relate. And that's a silken chicken.
That guy was saying, yes, Papa, yes.
Yeah, so it's out of passion that you actually did all the plannings and based on your experiences that you've had, you compile everything that you have, the skills and the knowledge that you have and put into this farm.
Yes.
So maybe you could also share. I think for every businesses, it's not easy to run a business, right? And when you compare it to having a job, right? It's totally different.
Yes,
Because
definitely.
you are everything. You are doing the marketing, the logistics, everything, all the fundamentals, right? So, what challenges that you actually did you actually face while actually running this Aliyah Rizq farm?
I will write you a book. And once the book is done, I email you the book. Banyak bro, banyak.
The book of problems.
The book of challenges.
Yeah, the book of challenges.
And how we maybe overcome it, huh?
Maybe.
Maybe.
But there were a book of solutions as well.
Yes.
That problem, right?
Yes.
There's a manual to it.
Yes. We managed to find our way one way or another, Yeah. So I think you're talking about problems. There's a diverse amount of problems,
Or
varying
challenges.
from the business to people to animals to management. There's a lot of things.
What was the main challenge that you actually faced and how did you actually overcome it?
I think like over the years, the challenges that we went through, maybe like initially it was about, say when we went Mersing, right? First it was the distance. It was really like far away. And then we had to rely on the staff there, right? So I mean, Ashraf will go up and down very frequently. But it's about finding the right people. So we had so many experiences where our staff cheated us. Right? For example, they say, oh, kambing mati ya boss. And then say, gambar mana oh dah tanam. But our SOPs is you have to show me the animal that's that's dead, and then you can tanam. And then it's like every other day ni kambing mati. So and then we got like, how come So when we went there unannounced, and that's what we would sometimes do. Then we have conversation with people around the area. Oh tak, dia ni jual kambing. So then we know it's not dead. It's being sold, right?
So it's your worker yourself.
Our
The
staff,
worker itself,
the worker itself who is
So it's a
being-
group or the individual?
At that point in time, we had only like 2 or 3 people because it was a small farm, right? So they scouting with each other.
You sell it off.
So they cover
Aliyah Rizq
out of Aliyah Rizq. So then those are the challenge the challenge we faced then. So then we learn. We had to put in certain things in place so that it doesn't happen. But of course, as much things that we do, people will still be creative in their own way, right? So that's one of
when
the.
it comes to these kind of problems, right? Like you put all your trust in those people that you have trusted. How many years have you been, working with them back then?
Back then was probably like a year
maybe.
into
So
it.
you put all your trust to them, right? And they broke your trust and they played and backstab behind your back, right?
Yeah.
So how do you handle that kind of situation, like in terms of trusting? Because as an entrepreneur, right, you put all your trust in the individual or the group of people that they actually do something and cheated you behind your back. The feeling is really, I don't know how to explain. Maybe you can actually explain.
Depends on how. Ni ayam aku sembelih juga tu.
Maybe we need to move them
guy?
away. This guy.
This is Ali.
Ali bising So I think it depends on the level of anger that you have that you can keep under control, right? First, you need to manage that emotion that you have first, kan? And then after that you find the solution lah, kan? When you know you cannot trust a person, there's no point in having the person anymore. What's the point?
Yeah.
You want to rebuild that trust again, it will take a long time.
Yeah.
Then for you to be able to cultivate that relationship again, I think it's going to be lost. Kan? So we don't want to waste time. Once we have such issues, we let these people deal with the law, kan? And then we move on. There's no point in thinking about what happened in the past, who did what, who did it to who, kan? You know who did what, who did to who, and okay, that's a lesson that we need to move on from. Let them deal with the law, and then you continue to grow lah. And then when you grow, they want to come back to you and say, hey, boss, saya nak kerja balik boleh tak? I want to work.
Or they actually cheated. Then after that, they got caught. They went out. Then now they
there's a lot of those.
come back to you to work with it.
Yeah, they want to, but no, not gonna happen.
And I think this is not the only time that we've gotten cheated. We've gotten sort of like betrayed in a lot of different ways by different people. Name it business partners, staff, key people in our our circle. So I take it as sometimes you like Ashraf say, we have to move on definitely, but the hurt is there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we still talk about it, sampai hati dia ni buat macam ni kat kita, because as a principal, we're never late with salaries. I can tell you upfront, Ashraf is the last person who will take salaries every month, right? So everybody will get their salaries first, and then him, right? So
You guys really take care of your men.
for us, we believe that they are the ones who is the backbone of the running of our operation. So we need to take care of them.
They're the
first.
heart of the business.
They are the heart of the business. So if we don't take care of them, then they won't take care of our investments, of our livelihood, basically, right? So we do have moments where we get hurt. We still think about it. There are some people who used to be part of the team and then they left, and then now they're like backstabbing us, backbiting us. Even until now, we have people in the background talking smack lah. Up until now, and we're like, if we want to be so, of course we do have moments where we get emotional, but if you want to get too invested in it, then we're going to get sucked into that cycle, which we don't want to. Yes, we can have our moments of, okay, this is painful, this is hurtful, how do we move on from there? So we need to always support each other in that. Sometimes I get too emotional, he's like, okay, let's chill, and then he gets too emotional, I'm like, okay, come, let's chill. So we do need that, because if we continue to talk about people, then we're not talking about the business, we're not talking about how we want to grow, then we're going to just be gossipers lah, and that's not useful.
Sometimes you lose your chill, fish fly. Sometimes that happens, You lose your chill because, something so crucial, you can screw it up.
Yeah.
You sometimes just lose it, So sometimes this kind of thing happen also, especially when you're at the farm. The staff can be fighting with each other because of who says what and what's going on with the reality, kan. And then you're like, you know what, korang dua ni kan, bergaduh kan, aku pun nak gaduh juga. I want a piece of this pie also, kan?
I think that goes back to how you control your
emotions.
right?
Yeah.
Especially as an entrepreneur. It goes back to, I feel that it is not talk enough lah. This topic where every entrepreneur actually feels a depression that they don't know of, right? We don't know that we are facing a depression state.
Yeah.
So how do you think that we could actually like find out that we are having that state, and how do we overcome it?
My wife is a clinical psychologist.
Yep. So that's the reason why. Oh, so that's the solution.
No, I mean, and that's very interesting because I find that when we, as an entrepreneur, when you are going through the difficulty, we find that we can't really talk about it.
Yeah.
You know why? Because our community glorifies the success. They don't glorify the process. They're not interested to know, oh, you tengah susah yang sekarang. How can I help you? We have no conversations or community that cares for entrepreneurs in that way.
Don't care lah.
Right? But you will hear people getting inspired by, oh, this is the challenges I've overcome, this is where I am now. So they can only glorify the success, but they're not interested in appreciating when people are going through that process. So that's why you hear entrepreneurs say, entrepreneurial journey is very lonely.
Yeah.
Because if you talk to this person, will this person then use it against me later on? You know, there's a lot of, you know, the mind game that goes into it. So I'm not surprised if a lot of entrepreneurs feel very lonely, they get very depressed. And sometimes the challenges that you go through is really hardcore, right? And if you don't have a community that cares about you, that you can have the safe space to talk about it, then you might continue to be in a rut. Padahal if you imagine, right, if we have a community that cares, if you're going through a difficulty and then somebody says, hey, actually, I know how to solve that for you because I went through that like 10 years ago. Come, these are the connections that I have. You contact this person and then this person will be able to help you. Imagine how different it would be if we didn't glorify just the success, but we hold the entrepreneurs in their difficulties and their hardships as they are going through it.
So see,
there's a guide based on the experience that we have. So it's just like, even like having a mentor would be really good, right?
Having a mentor or knowing someone who knows someone, you know, because at the end of it, it's about relationships that you build, you know, along the way, right? Like say if I needed help in social media, maybe we can't do it. And then, Hakim does this. Hakim, I got a friend, dia tengah baru nak start up. I know you've got good following. Can you help her? This is the budget that she has. See what you can work with. You know, compared to like this person, I nak start dari mana? Tak tahu. Instagram follower dua orang aja. You know, so it's really about connecting people when they're
a village to build up a person, right?
I love that. Yep, true.
Yeah, it takes a village to build up all this farm that you have as well.
I'd rather you stay as a village. You see, the thing about being an entrepreneur is this, the expectancy of that person to perform when he takes that leap of faith to become an entrepreneur, kan? Most people will tell you, don't do it. Then you are going to be facing this negativity from the get-go when you're going to be starting this journey, and then while you are doing it, everybody is banking on you to fail. Right? You know, everybody is banking on you to just, you know, have a screw up somewhere or make some bad decisions and then end up failing to finally be able to say what? No, I told you right, don't do it.
Yeah.
They want to be proven right, right? And then when that person can prove him wrong, right, suddenly he becomes this person's best friend, right? Hey, kau dah bawa kereta besar sekarang You're driving a big car now, Your business is doing so well, yeah.
You want to take that credit knowing that they know you.
Yeah, but
only when the success comes in.
Yeah, but with none of your help. None of your help at all. When you are in that difficult position, you can count how many people come to you and tell you, hey, Hilmi, you need anything from me or not? Can I assist you in your business or not? Not monetarily, no. It doesn't have to be, right? It can be a favor, it can be network, whatever. You hardly get it. You have to go out there and beg for it. As an entrepreneur, you have to go out there, literally beg for it, so that somebody can finally listen to what you're trying to say. You have to be loud enough for people to finally be able to see that, oh, you actually exist. Yeah? And then when you are that loud, and then suddenly you exist, everybody want to coexist. Right? Yeah. Why? Or that mentality of that shark and that small fish. Please. We don't have all this time, you know? We have all this time for all this. And then we have to also free up a lot of our headspace for all the emotional, baggage to be thinking about all these people who don't actually care about you. You care about those people who actually cares for you, your family, then the people who are working for you, right? The acquaintances you meet along the way, the strangers that became very good friends. These are your friends. Kan?
Yeah.
These are your friends. You say that you're a friend, and then I know this person, I know him, or but then you have nothing that you have assisted us with. What is there to talk about?
Yeah.
Then, but there's plenty of those.
Yeah. I think it goes back to your value as a person, how you look at things in a certain perspective,
Yeah.
right? If you wanna um, look at it in a way where your haters are gonna bring you down, then it's gonna bring you down.
It will bring
If
you
you can
down.
put it in a perspective where it drives you that motivational fuel, then you will actually go further.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So it's how you see things in a perspective. I mean, you the professional.
Yeah, but that's what we always say, right?
Yeah.
That's what we always say. The more you talk smack, the harder we push. The more you say nonsense, the more I prove you wrong. The more you say or do things to make me feel like I don't mean anything, the more I prove to you that I mean everything. You always use that to fuel that passion that you have in you to say that, no, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to let these naysayers bring me down. I'm going to use it, right? Not to prove you a point, but to prove myself that point. That I am not what you say I am. And that's very important. And the only person who needs to believe in that what do you call it, vision that you have is you. Kan?
Yourself,
You only have yourself to make sure that this is the things that you want to put in place, put in motion. You cannot put anybody else to blame for that. And you have to make sure that it happens, because if not, then of course they can say a lot of other things about you, kan?
It brings back to the power of manifestation as well. I think the number one common thing with successful entrepreneurs is that they manifested even when the thing hasn't happened yet. Right? Like when 10 years ago, you already kind of see where Aliyah Farm would be like. And in terms of that 10 years ago, right? Is this where Aliyah Farm? Do you vision it this way, or it's this a longer?
Supposed to be a bit more, but because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
So we got about 2 years of stoppage time, kan? So I think in 2 years' time, we should be able to get there, lah. Inshallah.
Yeah, I mean, we have to always, I mean, I call him a visionary ahead of his time, right? And that's something I always admire about him.
I feel very old.
Right? Because I think the vision he has for the business, sometimes it's like, very far-fetched. Like, I remember there's one time we were trying to do, he wanted to do Malaysia Book of Records. Malaysia Book of Records, eh?
Malaysia Book of
For the number of, most number of animals slaughtered. And I'm like, babe, gila ke apa? Like, who does this? Like, what is it for? Like, I didn't get it because I'm not really in the entrepreneur line, right? So then he's like, no, we'll just do it. And then, the money or the logistic, it was crazy, right? But then now you're like, hey, that had a value, right? That's something that other people got a bit more interested. There's when you do something now, the returns may not be now, but it may be like 3 years, 5 years down the line. So you need to have a vision. I say his vision is mashallah, right? And he can see way ahead, and I'm having to catch up. So when he feels me, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, let's do it. Right.
So I think that comes to the power of positioning of your company and your brand, right? So that's the reason why you did Malaysia Book of Records.
Yeah.
So what was the record again?
Most
number of animals
Most slaughtered
slaughtered.
in an hour.
in an hour. And you're part of it, right?
Of course.
Yes, he was part of it.
I was in one of the stations. So we had 13 slaughter stations.
We did it in Sana in Johor.
Angsana sponsored us.
Oh, yeah.
The space,
They
yeah.
were working with the veterinary department, the police, the army.
The one outside Angsana.
Yeah,
right?
the open field.
Oh, okay.
And then we had the Minister of Agriculture. He had all the places in the country that he can go to, but he chose to be with us because we want to break this record, right? We did 264 in 1 hour, and we got Singaporeans doing it.
Yep.
So in a way, it is, created that bridge to network with all these important people that like, in the industry, which is the agriculture industry.
Definitely.
So talking about the slaughtering, right? Maybe you can actually share with me more about your sheep breeding investment that you guys are doing. Like, it is really interesting because as someone who is zillennial,
It's a new term I learned today. A crossbreed of millennials and Gen
You
Z.
gotta pick a side, man. Pick a side, man.
I choose. It depends on the.
Tengok.
So yeah, as a zillennial, right? We would always go into searching for different kind of investments. To even when we have like $5 in our bank, we always try to see and find and do our own research on what is the upcoming investments that we can do currently, and most of the time right now is like crypto investment. We would explore in trading, then in stocks, auctions, right? But never in our research that we thought of doing an agriculture business, because it's not it's very unique, right?
Right. It's very niche.
Yeah, it's very niche as well. So maybe I love to know more about sheep breeding investment. If someone who doesn't know about sheep breeding investment, how would you actually explain it?
Okay. Okay, it is something that we wanna actually provide, like a place, a safe space for people to come and see their investment grow physically, right? If you invest in crypto, you invest in all this jargon, or you invest in stocks, or you invest in things that you just cannot see, basically, right?
It's digital,
Digital. You always have this inking feeling and at the back of your head, what's going to happen tomorrow?
Yeah.
What's happening with my money? What is going to change the dynamics of things?
The market.
The market. When is the bull coming? When is the, what's the other thing? Bear. Yeah, it's bull and bear. I'm not interested in those animals. Okay?
Maybe bull, sometimes bull.
Bull maybe sometimes. Bear, no, thank you. You know, I'm more interested in animals because I am physically able to manage, monitor, and at the end of the day, sell them. Very straightforward. So it is something that has been long forgotten. Back in the day, a lot of people were actually investing in livestock. Back in the times of our prophets and all that, people were investing in livestock. And the prophet was taking care of a lot of people's livestock, and not just his.
Yes.
So to emulate that, the characters of our prophets, that is the same thing that we are trying to do. You see, we take care of other people's stocks, take care of the relationship, take care of the trust, grow the community together, and then at the end of the day, everybody benefits, not just us, right? So it is not about being possessive. I don't like to do that. I like to be in a place where everybody's happy, families can come together, have fun, you know, and then provide that educational journey for the kids as well. And then at the end of the day, you make some money. Who's not happy with that? Right. So if you're asking me about any other investment opportunities out there, right? Okay, you put your money. Everybody just, where's my money?
Yeah.
Where's my when am I getting it back? When? Not here. You will get your money, right? Once you sell it. You want to count your animals? Come to the farm. You want to see where your animals are? Go and see them. You want to see what your records are? Here are the papers. Everything is transparent.
Yeah.
You cannot say that I cheat you when you see your animals here.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot say that I'm scamming you when I have such a big space over here for you to come and have fun with your family. No such thing. If I want to scam you, I'll put my farm in Burkina Faso, in Congo, somewhere. You don't know how to go there.
I'm going to take this chicken to Burkina Faso right now.
Okay. You know, so we try to make things very transparent, and we want to make this community grow together so that they understand that, you know, this is something that is reliable and it's an evergreen thing. It will not die. If your religion is asking for it and everybody is also eating this as a staple, then where is the problem in investing in such a thing? They call it an alternative investment. Now, in the current context, agriculture is an alternative investment.
Alternative.
Right? What is the current investment then? What is the current investment if this is alternative? So your food is alternative. Impossible. Your food must be current. Kan? If you put all the crypto into something that is secondary or alternative, we get it. That is just a place for you to speculate in whether halal or not.
It's a
It's another story. So you want to put your money in a place where you can speculate, or you want to put your money in a place where you know everything that's being done here is transparent. You choose lah. We don't put any knives
Yeah.
or what do you call it, stun guns on the person. We put it on the animal. Yeah.
So how does one, like for example, I want to invest, right? How do I actually earn from this sheep breeding? Maybe you can briefly explain.
Okay.
If let's say, what is the minimum amount that I have to spend on
On a package,
sheep, right? Yeah, the package itself.
Okay, so basically a package is about 15,000 basically. Yeah? You get 8 sheep.
Ringgit.
Dollars.
$50,000.
$6,000. You get 8 sheep. These 8 sheep will grow in 3 years to about 100 over animals, right? So basically you have a mother, the mother gives birth, and then the daughter gives birth, and then the mother continues to give birth. Now the daughter has a sibling, and
Keeps on breeding.
keeps on breeding. Yeah, it's like an MLM triangle thing.
Like a family tree, like a
family tree. People say, hey, this is very Ponzi. You go and draw the family tree,
Yeah.
right? You go and tell me your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. It's not Ponzi or not. Then you talk to me about it. It is just like that.
It is the power of compounding.
It is a power of compounding. And then when you compound these animals to a certain volume, you sell some of it. So there are some stocks that are
So in 3 years,
in 3 years.
yeah.
So you
So
will
I've invested 15 sheep. So in 3 years, let's say
You invested 15,000 for 8 sheep.
for
8 sheep, yes.
right? So that 8 sheep in 3 years, roughly,
100 something
120.
like that.
let's put it as 100, right? So I am able to sell 15 sheep
Yeah.
in 3 years time.
Mm.
I see. So you will be paying me
Yes.
that 50 sheep lah.
Correct.
So the other 50 sheep I can actually let it breed.
Continue to breed.
Let it continue. Let the Ponzi develop.
I see. So in terms of the collecting of the funds, right? It is after 3 years.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. Because we need to breed it.
Correct.
It's not you won't be worth it.
Yeah. So you let it breed, and then you get to get passive income from rotating the sales of whatever animals that you sell. Yeah. Some of the animals will be breed worthy. Some animals will be slaughter worthy.
Slaughter worthy.
So breed worthy are animals that you know you want to continue to use to produce. Slaughter worthy is because you know if you put good food into this animal, it grows fat very fast. It grows big very fast. So you get more meat yield from the animal, right?
Understand.
So different market lah. Then I advise you how to sell.
Yeah. Maybe you can share with me out of all the investors, right, that you guys have, what is the highest amount of fund that the investor actually
Investor.
invested?
Um,
And what's their return?
For sheep breeding.
Yeah, for sheep breeding.
So we have a few types of investors. We have the small ones, and then we have the really sizable ones.
Really sizable. They buy in like
Yeah.
sheep.
Yeah, some of them are even strategic investors. They buy shares in the company.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have people buying shares in the company as well. These are the larger ones lah. They get maybe 100, 200,000 a year. What they invested in probably at the start about, in dollars about 1 point something million.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they put that into the company and they want to earn the shares instead of the breeding program. But they know that we are breeding,
Yeah, I see.
but they want everything else lah.
I think that our largest scale for the sheep breeding specifically is about $100,000.
200,000.
$200,000
For the sheep breeding
for
itself.
the sheep breeding.
I see. But the bigger whales want a share of Aliyah.
Yeah,
They look at it in a bigger picture, the
Yeah.
holistic way.
they want the capital appreciation.
Understand.
Like they want to buy into the value of the company. They want to see how far it can grow.
So talking about how far you can grow, right? What are the future plans of Aliyah Rizq Farm?
Oh, there's a lot, man.
What's the maybe you can put it in milestones.
I will send you another book.
Okay.
Aliyah
Drama.
Rizq Farm Book of Records.
That'd be cool. Idea. You said it first.
Okay, so the first few things we want to do is we want to open up a farm in Morocco.
Oh, in Morocco.
Yeah.
Planning to.
Planning to open one there. We found a partner there, and that will be able to access this Spain's market. So from Morocco. So it's in the Andalusia region, right? So from Morocco and Spain afterwards to Australia. We're going to be opening one there. After we open one in Australia, then we're going into the Middle East.
I see.
It's one of the plans. But for the farm specifically, we are building it towards ecotourism, a bit more friendly for ecotourism. So we want to
here
have
lah.
like glamping areas. We want to have like a cafe going on.
So you want to start off with where we are right now?
Where we are right now. So this land space is 200 acres. So it's really, there's a lot of untouched land here. So it's
How big is 200 acres? You can actually explain it in layman terms.
200 football
Football
fields,
fields. Why?
roughly, right? So
200 football fields.
yeah.
Yeah. This behind you, how many football fields?
One of, not even one.
One?
This is the whole thing.
Yeah.
One lah.
One, right?
One.
This area is one football field, right?
This area is one football field.
Times 200 lah.
Times 200 of it. You can make your very own Aliyah stadium lah.
You can make your stadium, you can make your condominium.
your own estate lah. You
Estate.
become like,
Yeah.
We become the
Mayor Ashraf.
Mayor Ashraf.
Mayo.
Mayor. Yeah, so we would actually, we have some partners who came in, collaborators we call them, who want to do like fishing or fishery, prawning.
You're open to that.
We are very open to that because I think we want, there are a lot of Singaporeans who are very keen on this because of course Singapore tak ada land space to do all of these things, right? And this area is just an hour away from JB. So they come and say, hey, I want to try explore prawning or nak tanam sayur lah, boleh tak? I said, you find whether you have to look at whether the land is suitable or not. And then if you are, then we can enter into a joint venture together. Then this place, our intent is to make it a very friendly ecosystem. In terms of like our electricity, our waste, all the animals, what they eat, everything is, we wanted to make it as organic as possible.
A whole ecosystem.
Whole ecosystem.
Would this ecosystem be the same to other countries as well? Like,
I think it really depends on the
depends.
landscape. Yeah, there are some that is just purely for breeding because we want to look at exports. There are some that's just purely for the local market. There are some that we may be exploring to a whole tourism system. But I think we do this one here first, lah, right? And then see how this one goes before we can potentially replicate it somewhere else.
so we are talking about doing more projects and for Aliyah's farm, right? So it's more towards scaling the business itself, right? In terms of like sustaining and scaling a business, I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there, right? They tend to have a problem in terms of scaling their business. What would your advice be in terms of scaling one business itself, and when would be the right time? They would be very fickle-minded. Mine is supposed to come in or not because I built this small empire already, right? Do I have that should I take that risk to create a bigger empire, more empires? What would you advise?
First things first, when you want to expand, what are you expanding for? First thing you got to ask yourself, what are you expanding for? Second, when you are expanding in that scale or in whatever scale that you want to, do you have the right people with you? Have you checked your surroundings to see if you have the right people working with you when you expand? Because if you don't, you will have to backtrack. You expand and you go back, you expand and you go back. Right? You need to have a team that you know when you go out there to do it, this team can move without you being there. Can it do that yet or not? If it still requires you, forget about it. Okay? The other thing you need to look out for is when you are going out there, when you are expanding, in what terms? Are you opening up another company? Are you opening up another branch? Are you opening up another unit? Are you opening up a collaboration? What is it exactly? And who's funding it? Yourself? Are you being funded by an investor? Are you jointly funding this? It doesn't require funds, it just requires effort. What is it? And then you got to also manage the time that it takes for you to set this up. How much time does it take away from you? Do you have that time to dedicate yourself to doing it? What about the time that you have built in developing whatever you have done? Will it jeopardize what you're going to be doing here? You have to take all of these things into consideration first. And then do the maths. Figure out all these soft things first, then do the maths. Okay, now with this maybe projection or this target, can you meet it? Is it possible? Right? Does your current base need to cover this up? Will you need to bleed to feed, or will this run on its own, and then you're going to be disciplined enough to not be touching it to develop this? Do you have that discipline and control? Then you maybe for a start explore what are the things that you can do to manage your risk. Right? Do your risk assessment, check and balances, and then once you have done all of that, you think, okay, you know what? Let's do it. Then you do it lah. Right? For me, I would usually let my team do what they do. Right? They bring the operation all that. I'm needed when there's a decision to be made. Most of the time, that's what I'm needed for lah. So when there's a decision that needs to be made, or there are certain things that needs to be discussed, that's where I'm around for that particular unit. Otherwise, I'm always going out there to find things to do.
You are the strategists of the company.
I'm the strategist and the developer.
But it also means that you have also groomed the team to be able to think for themselves. So what he does is, okay, they come with the problem. When they first started, they come with the problem, and then, okay, boss nak decision, they do. After a while, he will test. You tell me what are the possible the decisions that solution to this problem. 1, 2, 3, you give me, I'll tell you which one I go for. And then after that is about, okay, you come to me with the solution, I will endorse or I will tell you otherwise. You see the progression?
So it's like a situational test.
Yeah. So it's about grooming this,
Your man, your team.
your team. Yeah. So because food for the animals have just arrived.
The animals.
Yes.
Animal
These
food.
are freshly cut grass that we'll process for the feeding after this. Yeah. Okay. So back to it. So is before you think about leaving the team, so you can expand, you need to also be able to groom the team. Sometimes I find that when you expect a bit too much of your team and they don't have the capacity, you need to see whether you can build capacities. And only after you have done your very best to build capacities, then you can say, okay, now this team is legit, then I can go and expand. So the responsibility is on us as the employers to make sure that we are always consistently building capacities. Otherwise, then you want to grow, but your team don't grow with you, it doesn't make sense either.
Talking about this, this is very interesting because maybe you can actually share with me the importance of blaming ourselves first.
I don't use the word blame. I say we need to take accountability.
Take accountability.
Yeah.
So
No.
not blaming your team about something
Yeah.
happened in your business, right?
Yeah.
So we, as an entrepreneur, the leader, we can't blame them because of what happened, right? So we have to put ourselves
Accountable. Yeah.
like how can we actually avoid this kind of similar mistake
Okay.
again? What's that? What do you
What we do, see, anybody in the company represents the company, not just you.
Mhm.
You know, maybe you are the face that people recognize. Maybe you are the familiar guy that people recognize. But at the end of the day, it is still the company you're bringing, right? Whoever messes up, right? Whoever messes up, you are bringing that company down, not the person. So when you talk about accountability, right, the first person to be able to man up to that is the person who made the mistake. Doesn't matter who it is, right? For us as the owners or as the bosses, the accountability that we have to take is if let's say the business is lost, right? If there are repercussions, if there is a music that we have to dance to, who has to do it? We have to do it. Well, are we ready to do it? If we are, then you can start giving the responsibility to people for them to be accountable for. If you are not, then you will never be ready. Right? You will never be able to let go of what you are intensely holding on to start disseminating or to start delegating, and you'll be stuck with a lot of things that you have to eventually do on your own.
I think sometimes it's actually a habit that they have, like since small and how they were brought up. People was to actually blame that. But the thing is, business don't care about your habits or whatever, right? And even if you're depressed or you have this problem and that problem, the business doesn't care about it.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, but I think to some extent because we are still human driven, right? We still have to care about how we treat the staff. I mean, yes, there are certain mistakes that are forgivable, that you can, okay, this is how we rectify and then we see. But there are certain mistakes which are very crucial. Then it depends on us to decide whether this is crucial enough for them to leave the team, or is this crucial enough that we can thank it, or they need to take accountability for it and maybe need to cover back, for example, right? So it depends on the mistakes made. But I think ultimately, why I use the word accountability is, if we talk about blame, the blame game never ends.
Yeah, everything.
Right? Macam we have, I mean, as husband and wife, we have taken certain risk in the business. Sometimes it is okay, sometimes it's not. So imagine if every time he's taking risk and it doesn't go off very well, and I blame him as a business partner and also as a wife. I'm just shoving him down the deep end of the pool, right? And that's not going to be useful. So how do we even have conversations about it where, okay, this was a mistake, what have we learned from it? Okay, we can about it for a while, but how do we recover from that? Take accountability. Okay, this is what I'm going to do to try to change the situation. Same with the staff. They need to know that whatever they do have implications not just on the animals but also with the other members of the team, right? Then how do we cultivate a culture where, okay, this is your mistake, okay, now how can somebody else help you with it for a while, so you work together as a team. Yeah.
So I think that's really, really important, because at the end of the day, they are our staffs, right? They are an employee, right? And we own the business. You see, we want our business to scale. We have to fix this part in terms of working as a team.
Yeah.
Not easier said than done. Okay,
done.
easier said than done, because sometimes, especially in this industry, the turnover rate can be very quick. Sometimes they think they are built for this, and then they, bawah matahari, the kind of intensive labor work, they're not for it. Okay, you go. We don't hold you ransom to it, right? So we, even when certain staff come in, they say they want to do, for example, they want to jaga kambing. But then we see actually the jaga kambing tak kena right? Then we say, okay, maybe what else can you do? Or I know how to tanam rumput. Then we're like, okay, then maybe you try that. And then when they go and do that, they flourish. Then we have to look at what are their strengths as well. Yeah, you can't fit a triangle in a box.
I always tell them, you don't force a person to do what he don't like to do. It's like us now. Like, when we were doing so many other businesses before this, we were trying to do so many things to, grow the business, make some money and all that, right? Another day, are you happy or not? Are you happy what you're doing? Same as the employee. Now, the person is working in a place where he thinks that he's forced to do something just to be able to get some wage. How long will this person last? How happy can this work?
It's not sustainable.
It's not. So don't. If they're coming here, when they want to work here, we have open roles that we need to be filled up, and then they come and we ask them what they like to do. When we hear, we know whether those roles can be filled up or whether he's fit for the job, right? And then we tell them, can you do this? Or would you like to do that? Would you like to explore this? Everybody will say yes. Sanggup pak? Sanggup. Boleh ni? Boleh. Bagus kerja? Bagus. Rajin dah rajin. They will say all of these things. And you put them into the test, they give you hell. Right? So this one you don't trust them for their word when they say it.
Based on their action.
Based on their actions. You ask them what they like. Be a friend to them, not like a boss.
Yeah.
Have a safe and happy place for everybody to work in. Then, even like for us, especially dealing with animals, when the animals have this positive energy going on with the people working in the farm, they also produce positive results, right? And nature works well with you. So you don't have all of that going on with you internally and inside the business and in the company and the people who are working with you. There will always be that hole that you got to close.
Yeah.
Which will be very tiring.
I think there was a test about 2 eggs. They make 2 eggs, right? And one of the egg, they will actually say positive things to the egg, right? And the other egg, they will always say like
Nasty.
Yeah.
So the ones that they always talk about those nasty things. It got rotten.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it really
It's true.
did work.
Yeah.
Scientifically, I don't know how to explain that.
It's energy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it's the
energy.
energy,
Yeah.
It's the vibe that you bring in. Yeah.
So you cannot be forceful and too reliant on making making people work for you. You know, you got to be able to educate. You got to be able to nurture. You need to do a bit of hand holding here and there before you let them fly. I like to let them swim in the deepest parts of the ocean. That's my style. I put you there, and then you tell me how you want to swim. When you are drowning, you tell me how you want to swim. Then I will come and put the life jacket on you, and then you move along with the tide. I like to do that. Then when you go along, you're already in the deepest part of the ocean. How much more can you sing?
A lot of.
Yeah, then it's
You only
really the deepest one.
yeah, you're already there.
Where
What?
else you want to go?
Where else you want to go?
Where else do you want to go?
Then when you get out there, and you know that you can go back there at any point of time because you have swam out of that hole, are you able to do it? You can continuously do it over and over again. That makes you a person who is very reliable and resilient. If I were to pamper you with everything that you need to get, oh, you need a phone, I give you a phone. Oh, you need internet, I fix one satellite for you. Oh, you need to eat good steak, I buy all the best Wagyu all for you. Right? And then after that, when I ask you for your work, tak boleh lah bos, kenyang.
All the excuses come.
So you have to build them lah.
I'm a kid. I think one of the last questions that I want to ask, right? If let's say 10 years back, right? How young are you guys now?
I'm only 21.
Then am I like 18? We're in our mid-30s.
Mid-30s, right?
Yeah.
So the 10 years younger self,
I was 11 lah.
what would your 11? What would your younger self actually say to you guys now?
What would my younger self say to me?
If they see you now,
If you say now.
what would your younger self say to you?
What would my younger self say
So
to
10
me?
years ago, you guys were engaged, right?
No,
not
wait,
yet.
no.
Not yet.
8 years ago lah. 8, 9 years. Okay lah.
Around there lah.
Around there lah.
That lah.
So, and you guys were planning about Aliyah's farm, right?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So but 10 years ago you started it. You started
So
it.
8 years ago lah. 8 years ago roughly lah.
So,
What would the
What would
younger
the-
Ashraf
mhm,
say to you right now, looking at how Aliyah's farm is?
why so slow?
Why so slow?
Yeah, why so slow?
That's the power of manifestation lah.
Yeah, because we had a 2-year break, right? Based on my target, at 10 years ago, it should already be at a certain level, kan? Yeah. So because of that stoppage we had, we got retracted a little bit. But of course, I'm still happy with what we have, lah. You know, or 10 years ago, if I were to tell myself that this is where we are right now and everything, I'll be like, not bad, but I think can be faster.
What would you advise him?
What would I advise him? Go harder. Find more people. Collaborate faster. Give people more opportunities.
Why do you say that? Did he actually had that certain kind of mindset where he's afraid to be out there and what?
He was at a point where he was betrayed, and he was at a point where a lot of people were talking nonsense about him, and he was also at a point where he was trying to redevelop what he
Rebuild himself.
rebuild
as a
myself, yeah.
person.
Rebuild himself. So at that point of time, to believe in people or to trust in people or to be giving people opportunities didn't make sense. You know? Like, you know what? Everybody is screwing you up. You don't need anybody to screw you up anymore. You go ahead and do it yourself. Again.
Okay.
Go and do it again. This time, do it faster. But you have to do it alone. Yeah. So maybe because of that trust issue and because of that lack of tolerance for bullshit at that time,
He slowed you down a
it
bit.
slowed me down a little bit. But I was very careful lah.
What about yourself?
Get married to this guy faster.
Is it? I don't know. I think my younger self would be quite surprised that this is where I am at right now. Because I think that 10 years ago self of mine, I imagined myself to be perhaps somebody prominent in my own industry as a therapist. I would never kind of imagined myself as a shepherdess, and I'm getting more and more involved in the business. And there's a lot of multitasking. I'm also a mom of 4. So I'm also a wife and so many other roles.
3 of them are?
Triplets.
Triplets.
Three of them are triplets. So I think I would actually tell myself to be, I think I'd be very proud of myself, to be honest, that I'm managing so many different things, and I have a husband who is, I say a visionary, ahead of his time, because I'm also learning a lot from him about the industry. So I would say you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. What would you actually advise her?
Her.
Her, not you.
Pointing to me.
I would actually, because I was never too keen on business, actually.
Why weren't you?
I don't know, it's
You
just,
look at business in it's like,
no, not really.
this businessman or salesman.
Not really. I think it never really crossed my mind, because I think being in my industry is also another niche area where you need to build experience from other people, mentors, supervisors and all that. So I was very geared towards that. But actually what I would say to her is, if you could, and I always tell him this, if I could, I might want to take like a master's in business, because I feel like I don't have any formal education in business. So he's the ideas guy, and the one who has to operationalize it is surprise me, right? The one who doesn't have all this background of the intricacies of business. So my learning curve in running a business with him is a very steep curve. So you say he throw. It's a very huge leap. Yeah, it's a very huge transition while managing my full-time job, establishing myself in that industry as well. So he says he put the stuff through the deepest end of the pool. This is the person who he put in the deepest end of the pool.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, okay, I need you to run korban here. I'm going to do it here. I campak you kat sana. You pandai manage. And I'm like, aku nak kena buat apa So I would love to have some form of formal education, perhaps, but I don't think that's too late. I think if I would,
Maybe you could actually hire someone with a master degree in business.
that's definitely one option, right?
We hire doctors, we hire people with some master's degrees, and we have vets here and all that. We do have those people, you see. But whether or not you can carry on that load of an entrepreneur is a different story. I'm looking for the person who is going to be spearheading that kind of operational issues to be entrepreneurial.
You see.
Because if you're not, you cannot think in that way, right? You're screwed in a certain framework. You cannot think out of the box. You cannot be creative. You cannot find solutions. You cannot think on your toes. You cannot, especially when you're dealing with livestock. You got to always be thinking on your feet. You got to always be careful. You're dealing with a lot of lives. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
Literally lives, right? Yeah. I think that's what I would say to my younger self. I think maybe also, I don't know. Take more leaps of faith. I think sometimes I can be a bit like introverted. I have also huge trust issues with people, and I think it would be the same thing if we would not have been too jaded when we started. I think we might be able to collaborate a lot more now, right? But I think also we had our own insecurities. We've heard people say like, I give them 2 years, confirm after this lingkup.
10 years here now, baby.
People say that we hear, right? Or people say, he travels a lot. Marriage confirm will not sustain one. So many different things, right? So I think sometimes that gets to us, the insecurities and the trust. So I think sometimes we need to take certain risks. I think I would say take more risk, but calculated risk lah. right? And if you've done whatever that is within your capacity, right? I think we had a separate conversation before this where I talk about there's a lot of things that has happened that we have made mistakes. I mean, I'll be upfront. We've made tons of mistakes. We've trusted tons of people that shouldn't be trusted. We have had moments where, even as an executive decision, it was the wrong decision to be made, right? But I would say that in that time, in the information that we had at that time, that's the decision that we made. Whatever happened, the outcome taught us that, hey, these are learning curves and learning points. So I called it wisdom in hindsight. In hindsight, you can say, oh, if only I did this. But of course, you can't change the situation. All you can do is learn from it. So I think we need to trust ourselves a bit more that whatever that we are doing even now, we have all these plans ahead of us. We can only work within the capacity of what we have right now to our best ability. Whatever happens after that, we leave it to Allah. Right? Sometimes He has bigger plans for us more than we know. Sometimes He throws us very like, macam, hey Allah, why this curveball? How do we deal with it, right? But then He gets us through it. So always have faith that whatever curveball, sometimes we think this pathway is the way. Pathway A is the way, but actually pathway B is what Allah is protecting us from actually in path A. So we will do in whatever's in our best ability. So we don't really blame each other. We hold ourselves accountable, but we don't blame. And then we say, okay, maybe Allah has better plans for us.
Talking about like working together, right, as a husband and a wife, that comes to entrepreneurship in a marriage. But maybe you can actually talk about that in his Pointers podcast, right?
Oh, okay.
Maybe we can talk about that.
Sure.
About the marriage.
About how entrepreneurial marriage.
There's a lot of
Entrepreneurial
couples
marriage.
who actually want to start up their business, or they are currently in a business, right, as a couple. Maybe they have some challenges that they are facing.
Oh, that one can be another book, ah?
That's another Aliyah book of records.
Back in the days, I was actually doing a lot of business coaching for a lot of startups, a lot of business trying to expand, a lot of couples who are trying to run their own businesses, home base, going into industry and all that. I've met, I think, in the hundreds.
Hundreds.
I mean, hundreds of entrepreneurs, right? And I keep telling them the one thing that a lot of these budding people want to do but cannot do, or don't want to do,
Right. That's
is to take the risk. Take the risk and understand your appetite.
what? What do you mean by that?
How big you want to go, right? How big you want to go? When I ask you that question, you can answer. How big you want to go, right? People will say, I want to go as big as I can. Do you have a number to that? Right? You must be able to project it in a way that there are certain plans in place for you to be able to get there, right? And then what kind of risk do you want to take to get to that kind of stage? Right? You want to set your bar to that level. What are the risks that you know that you are willing to take? Are you willing to be away from your spouse? Are you willing to go out there and travel and meet people that you do not know? Are you willing to go and see people in the ministries? Are you able to present yourself well enough to the people who are expecting a lot more from you? Are you able to negotiate terms that is fair for not just them but also for you? Right?
Yeah.
And when you do all of that, there are risks involved in every of those layers. Risk after risk after risk after risk after risk. Are you able to take it? You can take the risk. You understand where you want to be at the end of the day. And then you already put that all in paper. And then when you're about to take the leap of faith, you don't do it. That's why most of them couldn't
Make it. Like that.
They cannot.
So talking about this, you guys should, this is brown, right?
Yeah. Bro, hey, come here. Hey.
Yeah. So talking about this, you mentioned the hundreds of entrepreneurs in terms of mentoring, is it?
Mentoring.
Are you open to mentoring and
Not right now.
Not right
No, I think perhaps not anymore. Don't know. We'll see.
or maybe we can actually do something like how Shark Tank does, right?
That'd be
we can
cool,
actually work
no?
together to
Yeah.
so I think there's a lot of businesses that have a lot of potential in terms of scaling their business, and they just don't know the how-tos and who they have to go to, and back to even like mentorship and investors as well. Then there are investors, but there are good and bad investors
Yes,
for
definitely.
Yes.
the business.
Yes.
So I feel that if we could actually create a platform together, right, to actually help those business owners who wants to scale and wants that right path, right guide, right, and mentorship, maybe we can work something out together.
We shall see.
Yeah,
We
maybe.
shall see.
If you're talking about investing
Investing that.
into companies and looking at individuals who you might be able to see some sort of potential, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
And it's not that we have not done it before, right? It's not like we have not done this before. It's not like we have not been pitched to before. Then, if we see the right candidate in that Shark Tank kind of thing, and then we think that this person can actually be, the right person to groom, then maybe we can take it on.
If they can be part of the ecosystem, why not?
Yeah, we have a few here that we've invested in.
So I thought of the names, because we cannot call it Shark Tank or we cannot call it Dragon's Den. I was thinking of
Ship's Pen.
the goat.
The
The goat.
The greatest of all time.
Trust Hakim to get inspired with that,
Yeah, but thank you so much for sharing with me. We actually will be working a lot more together lah. So
Inshallah.
we can discuss more into it. And because the reason why I created Inspiring Tales is to actually also help people who are business owners who are struggling, business owners. They don't know the fundamentals. They don't have the guide, don't have the funding, there's no how to's.
And the emotional support.
And the emotional support. That's when Nabila comes in.
Complete
And that's
package.
feeling, and that's where Ashraf comes in.
Complete package, eh?
Complete package,
Package,
It takes a whole village.
Whole village.
To build a castle. Thank you so much.
Thank
once
you,
again.
Hakim.
Thank you for having
I
us.
want to check out the whole farm.
Sure.
Go ahead.
With my family, so my family is there.
Go ahead, go ahead.
The silicon chicken.
Silken chicken.
Oh yeah, one last thing. If someone actually wants to inquire regarding your sheep breeding investment,
Right.
I think what you guys can actually do is to comment down sheep in the comment section below, and we actually send you the link for you to inquire.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe Inspiring Tales channel, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.